Are you actually adopting AI, or are you just slapping superficial chatbots onto your website while your profits completely flatline? Welcome back. Today's explainer is an absolute masterclass in zero-fluff, AI-native organizational design. We're tearing down the incredible A16Z interview with Kavak's head of AI, Ali Masa, and trust me, this one is dense.
That exact question, that's the trap literally every company is falling into right now. They're buying the illusion of AI. They want the buzzword without doing the hardcore architectural work to actually make it function at scale. So we're going to dismantle that illusion today by looking at exactly how a company rebuilt itself from the ground up just to let AI run the show.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The biggest mistake leaders make right now is falling for the old way. Leaving all your legacy organizational structures intact and just handing out ChatGPT access to existing teams. The result? Zero real efficiency, and your customers face the exact same problems. Contrast that with Kavak's radically different approach. Ali Masa made the incredibly bold decision to rebuild their entire organizational structure from scratch. They completely redesigned all their APIs specifically so an AI-native, agentic architecture could plug directly in and just run the company.
To truly grasp the magnitude of this redesign, you've got to look at this hard metric, 96%. At Kavak today, 96% of all customer interactions and a staggering 95% of all transactions are completely handled by AI agents, zero human intervention. Honestly, you only interact with a physical human being when you finally show up in person to pick up your car keys.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale required to maintain that 96% automation rate. They are instantiating between 100,000 and 200,000 unique AI agents every single day. Think about that. These agents are dynamically spawned. They work for anywhere from 3 minutes to 8 hours. They set a digital alarm clock for their next required task, and then they literally just go back to sleep. The scale here is absolute. But the architecture wasn't always this optimized. Initially, they built these massive multi-agent workflow systems. But when Opus 4.5 dropped, they realized those complex graphs were actually constraining the intelligence. So they did something crazy. They destroyed 2 years of profitable architecture to build this, the per-customer virtual machine. They totally shifted from task-based workflows to creating long-running, dedicated agents assigned to individual customers. So now each agent gets its own virtual machine, its own command line interface, independent memory of years of customer history, and strict hard goals designed solely to maximize the lifetime value of that specific user. And the performance difference? It's undeniable. Look, selling a car in Latin America used to require passing a buyer through 15 siloed human experts. You had financing, insurance, buying, advisory, the whole shebang. Kavak threw that outdated model in the trash and deployed a single AI mega expert that holds all of that knowledge at once. Initially, this mega expert boosted sales conversions by 50% over the human teams, but as the system recursively learned, that number skyrocketed. Today, the AI mega expert outperforms human teams by a massive 2.1 times, all while simultaneously tripling customer satisfaction scores. Insane, right? This level of precision even extends into their highly regulated fintech operations. Traditionally, in emerging markets, underwriting a thin-file or no-file customer for a car loan, that involves a grueling 2-month wait. It's a nightmare. But Kavak's AI architecture has completely collapsed that timeline. Because the AI has deep access to user data and behavioral history, it now underwrites and approves those exact same loans in under 3 minutes. Now, automating loans and sales is one thing, but this brings us to a radical experiment. I want you to seriously sit and imagine the scenario for a second. What actually happens when you fire the human leadership and make an AI the literal CEO of a major city branch?
Well, here is the hardcore data. Kavak installed an AI agent as the CEO of their Cuernavaca city operations. Operating with what Masa calls Fields Metal level smarts, this AI CEO dug into every single localized metric, formulated perfect daily forecasts, and actually micromanaged physical workers by sending them direct messages outlining their daily plans. It even required voice notes back from the workers to verify execution. The result of all this? In just a 6-week baseline test, this AI CEO drove a 1.5x, or 50% increase in branch profits. Now, what's really interesting here is how you handle complex physical labor that AI simply cannot automate. For their 800 physical mechanics, they implemented a strict human-in-the-loop collaboration using an AI sidekick named El Mike. Ali Masa explicitly compares this to the movie Ratatouille. The AI acts as the chef under the hat, directly collaborating with the human mechanic to precisely guide physical car inspections and complex repairs step by step. By integrating LMIC, the exact metric of success became immediately clear. Warranties and car defects dropped by a massive 26%. Inspections became faster, repairs became significantly cheaper, and the end product quality delivered to the customer just went completely through the roof. But here's the catch. You cannot just bolt this kind of integration onto an old workforce. It demands a ruthless, top-down cultural mandate. So Kavak launched the internal Jedi Academy. Every single employee, from the human CEO all the way down to the physical mechanics, was subjected to mandatory enrollment. It is a grueling 6-week training program designed to upskill everyone on how to build and collaborate with AI. After 6 weeks, they literally must launch a state-of-the-art agent to production. The ultimatum was crystal clear: upskill or leave. And this mandate transformed Kavak into an intensely flat, highly empowered organization. Of course, funding scale like this requires militant financial discipline. Masa insists that companies must spend an equal amount of engineering time and tokens on building evaluations as they do on building the agents themselves. He uses a rigorous token ROI framework to track this. Tier 1 tokens are spent on general chat, yielding an unknown ROI. Tier 2 tokens go to developer code bases, yielding an indirect ROI. But Tier 3 tokens, which power these core organizational agents, they provide an exact, highly measurable ROI because they are directly performing the vital revenue-generating jobs of the organization. If your company is hesitating on this level of commitment, you really need to look at the historical precedent of the innovator's dilemma. Think back to 1879, when Ford and Edison's technologies were developed. The old method of adoption involved simply replacing steam engines with electricity in legacy vertical factories. That yielded a mere 6% efficiency gain. But the true transformation? That happened when industrialists destroyed those old factories and rebuilt entirely flat factory layouts around small dynamos, unlocking an exponential 3x productivity gain. Superficial AI tools are your 6% gain. Agentic architecture is the 3x exponential leap. And this kind of architectural leap requires unapologetic leadership. Ali Mazat is incredibly blunt about this. He says the transformation has to be top-down. An army doesn't really work if everyone comes up with ideas on the strategy. Mazat emphasizes that bottom-up hackathons completely fail in this arena. True AI native transformation demands absolute top-down vertical leadership anchored to a clear, uncompromising 5-year vision. All right, let's lock in the hard data. This is our mandatory core review of the exact facts we've extracted from Kavak's operations. They instantiate 100,000 to 200,000 daily agents. The AI interaction rate sits at a staggering 96%. Sales conversion experienced a 2.1x increase. Loan approvals are now processed in under 3 minutes. The Cuernavaca AI CEO drove a 1.5x profit spike, and mechanic warranties saw a strict 26% decrease. No fluff, just hard numbers. Which brings us to today's ultimate bottom line takeaway. True AI transformation requires fundamentally rebuilding your organization's architecture around self-improving agents rather than merely bolting AI tools onto legacy workflows. Now, I want to pose a hardcore debate to you regarding that Cuernavaca experiment. Deploying an AI as the literal CEO of a physical city branch, micromanaging human workers via direct messages, is this a genius architectural design that proves the future of management, or is it a massive compliance and cultural disaster waiting to happen? I want to know your exact reasoning. Take a stance and leave a comment below. The moment you drop your argument in the comments, it will automatically trigger the delivery of our complete Kavak AI architecture mind map and our rigorous evaluation tool checklist directly to you. Start typing, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.